What are some common facts that people believe to be true, even if the existing evidence states the contrary? Chicken is cooked when it is no longer pink and the juices run clear. In fact, it's cooked when it hits 75°C, 165°F, and that's it. What it looks like depends on the cut. Chicken breast often has significant pink in it when it hits the temperature, which is why most people complain about dry boring chicken, because they overcook it. On the flip side, wings can look cooked when they aren't, which is why they are a major source of food poisoning. The most important thing I learned working in a commercial kitchen. It's entirely possible it was literally made up by a news organization that didn't have a story that day. The whole toilet paper situation started just because a random news show in Australia decided to run the story. The story caused people all over the world to believe toilet paper was running out, so they went and ensured exactly that by buying it all and then trying to return it when they realized how stupid the idea is. Lol. Also, that viral fact that you eat 7 spiders in your sleep every year. Disinformation created to prove that people will believe anything they hear. That's sensational. Edit if you're about to comment about why I'm wrong. Trust me, someone already said the exact thing you're thinking of typing right now. Stop please. Edit 2 why can't people read the whole thread before commenting? Do you think the 30 seconds it would take to read it would make or break your comment's success? Because after a day in a thread like this, it is 100% gonna get buried, so you might as well take the time to read the whole thing, because I'm the only one who's gonna see it. Alpha theory in dog training. The researcher that originally described the dominant theory was watching captive wolves at a zoo pack that was artificially created from unrelated specimens. The hierarchy in this curated collection was determined through fights and struggles for dominance, and this dynamic was then applied to domestic dogs and how they view themselves in relation to humans. This drove the dominate your dog style of training popular with Cesar Millan and his acolytes. When the scientific community was able to observe a wild wolf pack, however, they discovered that wild packs are family units and operate much the same way, with a parental breeding pair at the top and their younger offspring forming the pack, sometimes several litters at a time. As the pups grow older, they break off and form their own packs. The researcher that dismantled the theory, David Mech, described it thusly. Attempting to apply information about the behavior of assemblages of unrelated captive wolves to the familial structure of natural packs has resulted in considerable confusion. Such an approach is analogous to trying to draw inferences about human family dynamics by studying humans in refugee camps. Edit to at, as a woman who got her first period at 13, I know that the average age a girl gets her period today is around 11 to 13 years old. Keyword being today. I'm talking about the medieval times, which are roughly between 1300s, between 1000 to 800 years ago. As many others have already pointed out, the average age for a girl to get her first period would have been closer to around 15, 16 years of age. Another edit to at, I'm not an expert on this, nor have I paid as much attention to this as I have on medieval marriage age, but it is generally believed access to better nutrition from medieval Europe to today's Europe is causing the average age of girls' menstruating to lower. There is also the belief that the artificial hormones and additives in food are messing with hormones, as well as artificial fragrances and dyes etc. Not just for girls, boys as well. However, I haven't seen this belief outside of Dr. Oz, so you can guess it isn't as credible as the nutrition belief. Piggybacking off this, that girls were married off in their early teens in the medieval period. This is based off the nobility and royalty, who did marry off their young daughters as a political tool to secure alliances. However, even when the young royals were only 12 or 13 when wed, they were often married by proxy and married in name only. The married couple were often kept separate until either the girl came of age or got her first period to produce children, or were just deemed old enough to start living together in the same castle, which wasn't until around 17 to 20 years old. The vast majority, like the peasantry, weren't married until their early 20s. Women in the peasantry often did have a choice on who they got to marry, unlike their noble components who were used as bargaining chips. People still think an undercover cop has to tell you they're a cop. How does that even make sense? Months of preparations ruined on the first day because someone happened to ask the magic question. Cops are allowed to lie to you, and they will pretend to be your friend to get what they need from you. Side note, even if you're innocent of a crime, the first words from your mouth should be "I want a lawyer," and you don't provide any information until you have one. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law. The mother of one of my friends fed long expired, like, decade-old, antibiotics to their new puppy after the vet said it probably picked up a parasite. Poor dog suffered for weeks with this treatment until she decided to take it in to get the parasite removed. She also forced my friend to fake his symptoms as something else, so the doctors would give him antibiotics instead of something to treat what they thought was a viral infection. Edit. Dog is perfectly happy and healthy now. Also, thanks for the cake day stuff. 8 years. Damn, I'm old. I'm a master esthetician and I've studied hair growth, and I can confirm, shaving/waxing/plucking does not make more hair grow thicker or longer. The reason for this misconception is when you shave, it makes the tip of the hair blunt, so when that protrudes from the follicle, it appears to be thicker. The only change in hair texture/thickness/length/etc occurs in the papillae, hair root, which is completely determined by hormones. Edit. Hey y'all. As much as I love talking about my field, I gotta turn in, but consider contacting a local esthetician for your skin/hair questions. Who are my time to shine? I used to test pool water/hot tub water as a part-time job. This is what I learned from reading the material that the company gave me, but my advice always seemed to work, so I think it's pretty solid. There are two types of chlorine, free chlorine and combined chlorine. Free chlorine is generally odorless in the pool. It's the chlorine that can attack bacteria. Combined chlorine is chlorine that has already attacked some type of bacteria. Or it just stays in the pool and doesn't do much. That combined chlorine can make your pool smell like chlorine, or even make your pool cloudy. If a pool smells like chlorine, it has too much combined chlorine. To get rid of it, you need some type of oxidizer, like a calcium hypochlorite or something along those lines. So in other words, even if a pool smells horribly like chlorine, it can still be very unsanitary and unsafe to swim in. There's no such thing as an alpha wolf. The naturist who first described them spent years trying to clarify the matter, but the idea just caught on too hard. The dominant wolves in the pack he had been observing when he came up with the alpha wolf theory were, he later discovered, just the parents of the rest of them. Groups of more than one family do converge and engage in social activity, but the notion that wolves live according to a hierarchical structure is pure fantasy. Edit. Thanks for the gold, kind stranger. Some things from the comments. The distinction between dominant parents and alphas is that the parents don't necessarily achieve their leadership positions by being the biggest/strongest/most aggressive animals in the pack. They get it by raising the pups. Also, apparently alpha wolves do emerge in captive packs of unrelated animals, so it's not that alphas don't exist, it's just that they're a prison rules phenomenon. Also, I said naturist when I meant naturalist. That 12-step programs get addicts clean. The truth is that their efficacy hovers at 5%. That's exactly the same as quitting cold turkey. There's plenty of researched and scientifically tested methods that work better. It's just that the AA model of always an addict, nothing else works is so ubiquitous in American, and to an extent other countries, culture that most people, including a lot of addicts, think that's all there is. Edit. As much as I hate award speech edits, I'm making this one exception. If you need help, and you don't want that help to include 12-step programs, there is help out there. Your mileage may vary based on your insurance status, and we need to put an end to that. Everyone should be entitled to dignified, comprehensive medical care, and that includes addiction. If you aren't sure what to do, feel free to PM me, whether it's tonight or next week or next month. I've been there. I was an addict for 12 years. I don't work in the rehab industry, but I've been in it enough times to know what's out there. and sometimes you just need to write it out for another human being that understands, and that's okay too. Edit 2. I will reply to the rest of your messages tomorrow. I'm not ignoring you, I promise. I'm old and it's past my bedtime, and I'm realizing I simply can't get to the mall tonight. There's also a ridiculous amount of gatter keeping on AA. Like I was led to believe that I didn't drink enough to be a real alcoholic. No, I just noticed my addictive behavior long before it completely ruined my life and put an end to it. They also had me believe that if I didn't find complete faith in a higher power, I was 100% going to relapse. For me, what works is having the constant support of other sober people, as well as friends and family, which is why I seek out sobriety groups that aren't based around faith or 12 steps. I see AA working for a lot of other people and I encourage them to continue with it, because it helps them, but not me. Let them think that I'm doomed because of it, and I'll just strive even harder to prove them wrong. Edit. Auto-corrected word. Edit. A little clarification. The they and them in my post is referring to the minority of judgmental people I was speaking of. I'm in no way trying to blanket AA as a whole. So I have a Geiger counter, and sometimes I'll bring it out, just for fun when I'm hanging out with friends. I cannot even tell you how many people freak out when they see a number that isn't 0.00 on the screen. In reality, a little bit of radiation isn't at all dangerous. In fact, we are surrounded by ionizing radiation due to things ranging from naturally occurring element in the soil to cosmic radiation. Levels will rise near things like granite countertops due to small amounts of thorium and uranium. During a flight, radiation levels go up by 10, 25x plus what they are on the surface, due to less shielding from cosmic radiation by the atmosphere. Moral of the story, from what I've seen, people tend to think that radiation is some terrifying thing, and that it doesn't take a lot to give someone cancer or radiation sickness, when in reality, it takes a lot. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit like. If you would like to see more, feel free to subscribe.